I don't do a lot of videos on pop culture. Never have, never will. It isn't the scope that I wish to undertake, nor is it the path I would like to go down. Um, but Joe Rogan has caught COVID, and due to his platform, due to what I feel he represents, I deem it necessary and appropriate to speak on what this means, what this represents. So, Joe Rogan, this Wednesday, went on Instagram and said he had COVID. He often hosts right wing figures, spouts anti vaccine conspiracies, said he threw the kitchen sink at it, taking experimental monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, a Z pack, and steroids to take the virus. Now, um, I don't really have a problem with people taking natural remedies. I tell everybody I take whole, what do you call it, whole vitamin complex stuff. This is one, VM100. I tell everybody about this. It's a little expensive. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in it. This is just, it's supposed to be something you take for the seasonal changes. It's something I take when I get to feel kind of funny. We get strange weather up here in Pennsylvania, and it is what it is. I'm not the only person that is come down with certain things. I think that the danger, first of all, the stuff he's talking about is very expensive. Let's understand that. And there's something about the right wing and DIY stuff and this this notion of just being healthy and just being well. I'll get over it. This social Darwinistic um, viewpoint that right wingers have, and I've talked about it before. That without going down this path, Republicans generally play to people who are not affected by challenges. So if you're talking about HIV/AIDS, you're like, well, those fags deserve to die. That's a black issue. That's a black inner city drug issue. I don't care about that. If you're talking about these Asians getting beat up, well, I don't care about a bunch of Chicoms. That you saw that. You've seen it historically that's the Republican Party's whole platform is we're not even going to deal with these issues. We're not interested in making the world a better place. We're not interested in that. We're going to anyway, COVID's different. And I've worried from the very beginning with how the way Trump handled COVID, with he making mockery of the masks, with him making mockery of people that were warning people back in March about it, that people wouldn't take it seriously. And Trump caught COVID. And then he was like, remember he was riding around in the limo and, he's doing a little for his people. If people don't realize something, Trump's rich. Trump catches long haul COVID. If he caught long haul COVID and he's sick for months, he ain't gonna lose nothing. If you've got children and something happens to you and you're the breadwinner and you're down for months, what's gonna happen to your house? Your car note? How your children gonna eat? See, this is what socialism is. We're not rich people. You could bring a man in here that made $100,000 last year. I would tell him to his face, you are not rich. You could have $10,000 in your bank account. You are not rich. That money can go like nothing. Get a bad divorce. Fall down the steps. Have a bad car accident. Don't take much. They'll blow through that money like nothing. Don't take much in this day and age. And not only was Trump rich, Trump was the president. So, I mean, he's got a helicopter waiting on him. He He's got a helicopter waiting on him. He's got his own, they got the what's that hospital out there in Washington that they have like their own they have like a place in the back that's like a presidential office. So even forget about Trump being rich, he still could do his job. Even if he was only working a couple hours a day. Trump's situation is not the situation of the average American. But I knew these reactionary bigots who are ignorant would take that to believe, oh, well, if Trump can survive it, I can too. Yeah. What about all the experimental stuff they gave him? And stuff you can't even afford if you wanted to. Also, when you get sick, you're going to be in the hallway of some hospital. I was looking at pictures, it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I know. I was looking at pictures, people laying on the floor coming in with COVID. That's the average American when you get sick with COVID. Yeah, you ain't getting no helicopter. My grandfather had, I think it was a heart palpitation. We had him go to the hospital in the ambulance. That was like $1,000. I remember at least $1,000. And it was a diabetic thing. They didn't even touch him. They didn't inject him. They just talked to him. $1,000 just to go up the street, just to go 10, 15 miles in the ambulance. Average American is not going to get the presidential treatment. And I'd say now it'd be worse in some areas than it was then if you caught COVID. From what I'm seeing in Mississippi and Texas and Florida, the way their ICUs are filling up. My point is that these people, like Joe Rogan, like Donald Trump, that make mockery of COVID, if in worst case they do get sick, they'll be okay. You're not rich. You're not in the position these men are, nor are you likely to ever be in that position. And it's dangerous and it's reckless for people who have power to then act like, well, you should think about the least of these. You should think about this average Joe in Cleveland that's watching your podcast. You should think about people that ain't even, they say a lot of Americans couldn't even garner up $400 for a surprise bill. I gotta find that for you. I mean, you should think about that. Here we go. Many Americans who couldn't afford a $400 emergency blame debt. That was research at Boston College. The Federal Reserve's 2018 survey of household economics and decision making. 12,000 households are asked about their financial well-being. They said they wouldn't be able to have to borrow money, sometimes neglect other bills to do so. You're not Donald Trump. You're not Joe Rogan. You don't have that amount of money. You don't have that privilege. And I wish the best for Joe Rogan, but I think it's sad that people will watch this latest incarnation with Joe Rogan that, well, he took all this experimental. He didn't take the vaccine. You know how expensive the Z-Pack and all that costs? And the vaccine is free. How much does a mask cost? I rest my case. This is that ideology of following the rich and following, like, I've said it before, that Americans think they're rich. But there's a foreign guy that said America's full of billionaires. They don't have the money yet. You're not a billionaire. And I think it's sad, that it's hypocritical. Joe Rogan is not to the extent Trump was. Trump was making mockery. Joe Biden wearing a mask, he's making fun of Joe Biden. At the time, we knew it was killing elderly people. So not only was what he said dangerous, it was reckless. It'd be like making fun of me. It'd be like me going to get in a car race and people here laughing at me for putting a seatbelt on. And let me get my helmet, y'all. Oh, look, he's a sissy with a helmet. And I'm about to go 120 miles an hour. That's not stupid. That's being smart, because that's me recognizing the dangers in the activity I'm taking part in. I'm in a situation to where I could flip a car. And if I flip a car, I'm more likely to get hurt. That's being smart. That's measuring the dangers of a situation. Don't hate Joe Biden. Don't hate Joe Rogan. But I think it's sad that it takes us. And it's sad to me people don't look at this and say, damn, even rich people can catch this. That was my mindset. When I started, first of all, when I started seeing New York firefighters dying of COVID back last year in New York police, I knew then it was serious. You talking about some of the in New York Fire Department, they've got like schools where they train people from other states and stuff, from overseas. They got a magazine. And you're saying people in that type of shape, that type of technical ability, they're getting sick with COVID? This is serious. I knew that then that it was serious. I think that may be more dangerous than the actual uh, mocking or making fun of the scientists and the science and anything, is the notion that because these rich people can go out there and catch it and be okay, I'll be okay too. Even when D.L. Hughley got sick with it and he fell and hit his head on the event, I didn't look at it and say to myself, "Oh, he'll be no." And he spoke out about the vaccine. He spoke out about wearing masks and being careful. I think it's reckless at this point in a situation that people of privilege uh, can make mockery of something that's killed so many and has endangered the lives and the livelihood of so many people. Because a lot of people, they say they've come back, lost a sense of smell, sense of taste, months later. I think it's tragic, and it's reckless, and it's irresponsible. And I'd like to believe Joe Rogan learned a lesson, but he probably didn't. Thank you for listening.